If you ever felt like opening your heart is scary, or you even wondered if it's safe to be vulnerable, this message is for you. I have been talking quite a bit about opening your heart space, about coming back to the present moment. And when we do that, we tend to drop many of our old stories, and those walls and those barriers that we began to build around ourselves begin to really fall and tumble. That tower that we have put ourselves in begins to crumble beneath, and it comes falling down. And we feel that many times. You can feel that you're bare, it's open. Everybody can see who you truly are now because you're living more authentically. And so many times when we let those guards down and we really let who we truly are to come in, it can be really difficult because we don't like the feeling of being seen. We don't like being perceived in a certain way. We don't want to be judged, and it can be really difficult. And many times we have those walls up because we think that being vulnerable is a sign of weakness, when really, truly, it's a sign of strength more than we could ever imagine. And we have built this up maybe since childhood or even lifetimes, or even in our ancestral lines, where we built these walls up because when we were vulnerable in the past and we showed who we truly are and we were authentically our true selves, we were ridiculed for that. We were burned at the stake. We were, chastised from society. And many times it can feel not right in this day and age to show ourselves. Even now with like the booming of social media, it is hard to be our authentic selves and to be vulnerable because we are so afraid to be judged. And what's really nice though, even though we have technology booming and we're like, oh gosh, if I go online, I'm going to have all these trolls and people really judge me and really ridicule me. And it's so hard to put myself out there. And I had this block for a long time. I think it's really interesting that now I'm finally at a place in my life to where I can start making videos and share my knowledge with you all. And if you would have asked me to do that a year ago, I would not have been able to do that. It was really hard for me to be vulnerable. It was really hard for me to show you who I truly was. I say that I lived authentically, but I really lived authentically in my personal life, in my life at home, where I could just be myself, where the mask could fall away and I could just shed that personality that I had at work or what have you and truly be myself. But the deeper I've dived within myself shamanically, I've realized that I no longer have to bow to what others perceive me of who I should be. Actually, I should be the person that I want to be. I should live the life that I authentically want to live. And if you don't like it, there's the door, and you don't have to be in my life. You don't have to be a part of who I am anymore. And I let go of like what other people truly thought of me. And I really let go of the thought of being a people pleaser, because deep down, some root causes of a lot of this is the feeling of worthlessness, right? Where we depend on other people to what they think, how they're going to feel, and on the opposite of the end of that, of why we have built up walls and why we live in a tower, is we've been let down by people as well. People have treated us a certain way, situations, and they toppled over you to get to the top, or they made you feel a certain way, or they just made you have these deep core wound issues that now you're like, well, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to move through this? And how's it going to be? And So we have a few, a combination of issues that can arise. And when we decide to live authentically and decide to be vulnerable and let our guard down and truly be who we're meant to be, that's kind of when life can become magical. Because maybe the people that were in our lives really only liked the part of us that was super guarded, only liked the part of us that had walls, because, hey, they didn't get much off of you, right? And, I don't know what the benefit would be in your personal case. Okay. And in my case of making videos, I was so worried about what other people would think. I thought, this is so silly. I am in these certain roles, and I am meant to provide for my family, and I'm meant to be in corporate America, and I'm meant to run things. And how can I be vulnerable at all? How can I show people truly who I am? Because if I follow a path that I didn't go to college for, that wasn't laid out for me, and following a certain status quo, how could then I live the life authentically and true to myself? I can't show you who I am. I can't be really who I am. When we really dive deep into this, we say, okay, well, I have these walls up because I need protection. Like, these people hurt me bad. They made me feel horrible. I can't be myself anymore. Like, I need these walls because when I have these walls, I'm behind my fortress. I'm up in my tower and they can't. But you have to realize that in turn, that really isolates you. That makes you feel very alone. And I get it. I get that people have broken your trust, have made you live in a life of fear, made you realize that maybe you can't trust people anymore. But when you let go and you decide to be vulnerable and you decide to share who you are truly at your core, the right people will come into your life. And a lot of people will fall out of your life, and that's okay. For me, I would rather have my small friend circle of a couple of friends than have a bunch of people surround me where my walls are up and I feel very isolated. Okay? And I would rather those people know the true, authentic me than somebody I'm not, who wears these masks and keeps their guard up at all times. And truly, you don't need to be fully healed in order to be in a true connection with yourself, source, spirit, God. You need to really realize that you don't need to be fully healed to be worthy of a connection. It's okay. Like, we're all navigating this together, especially when waking up on your spiritual path, because already it is a little bit isolating. So to be on a spiritual path already feeling lonely and continue to have a wall up, for me, that can't really work, right? You have to move through this, and you have to let go of who has hurt you in the past, who has made you feel worthless. Let it go. You have to let it go. You don't necessarily have to ever talk to that person again. You never have to go through that again. And if you feel that a lot of it's unresolved and it's not working with healing or going deep within, then seeking therapy services or whatever suits you to really work through what it is that is troubling you deep at your core. And so whenever you open up your heart, know that it's going to be safe and it's going to be okay. Because the more we open our heart, the more truly authentic we can become. And the more that we can start letting our guard down and to be in true alignment with who we are as a person. And although difficult at first, I invite you to start a little bit at a time, okay? and to maybe sit with yourself within, and sit within your heart space and begin to break through the barriers that are keeping the wall up for you. And when we are vulnerable, we remember that we are never truly alone. Some people can work with you and relate to you on such a deep level. And if you let it in, you can kind of see that. And you can kind of understand how to kind of navigate through on your journey to healing, on your journey to really come back to the heart, to being vulnerable, and to breaking down those walls. So, my friends, if you found this video to be helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.